serious. What is a seemingly harmless parenting mistake that you will majorly F up a child later in life? Starting from the age of 7, my mum would sit me down and complain to me about her life for hours. She'd talk to me about my dad's POS, dad, strippers, the fights with her sister, blowjobs, etc. She never explained things to me like what sex was. She made it my job to validate her. She was also really abusive and emotionally neglectful, so being her therapist was the most attention and validation I ever got. I'm a really good listener now. Not following through with your promises. If you're told your child you were buying ice cream tomorrow in the hopes that they'd forget, and the next day when they ask you, tell them no, they'll see you as unreliable. Ice cream is just the first thing that came to my mind. I'm sure someone else can explain better what I'm trying to say here without sounding so ridiculous. Or worse, rewarding with candy or sweets. Not only does it make behaviours that should be intrinsically rewarding behaviours intrinsically rewarded, it develops an unhealthy relationship with sugar, tying the idea of pleasure and value to sweetness. Once kids with that connection get old enough to buy their own sugar, they retain the connection and can simply reward themselves constantly, increasing likelihood of developing disordered eating patterns. Edit. Change references of obesity to disordered eating patterns as per this reply. Once my brother was sent to his room by my dad after they got into an argument about something stupid. I used Google to prove my brother right, and we both were grounded for being disrespectful. Until he found out we were actually right, he never ungrounded us until the week was over and only told me he was wrong. Moral of the story, being right is disrespectful. Never say sorry to your kids. My mum only just recently started telling me sorry when she gets woke up. It's built up such a resentment for her over the years, and I also have trouble saying sorry myself because of it. Tell your kids sorry, especially if you overreact to something they did. I'm sort of glad that my mum isn't the only one who acts like this. She's actually working on that issue. Since me and my siblings are older now and can call her out on without many consequences. It just sucks because she only started working on it once I left for college. I wish she had told me sorry once when I was younger. My parents refused to apologise to me, as apparently it's bad for saving face. I never thought about how this affected my own personality until now. I hate apologising myself. It takes a lot of effort for me to admit I'm wrong and apologise, but I do it and I feel angry while saying it. This really F's people up. Giving in to your kids' wants and desires without upholding discipline and consequences will give your kids a large uphill battle to climb later. I say this Because my parents babied me a lot when I was young, I never had to do anything I didn't want to do. When I started getting bad grades because I wasn't doing my homework, my parents would have conferences with my teachers so they could give me extra credit. I had a rude awakening in college when I realised how hard life is. I 100% love and adore my parents, and who's to say if they did discipline me more that it had actually turned out any different? Probably not, but you never know. But when I have kids, I already know few things I do differently. The saddest part of this question is that my mum had done so many things that everyone is saying is bad. Not hugging, praising, telling me to suck it up, etc. So let me give you one that I feel would help me out growing up. Do not be afraid to admit when you are wrong or when you make mistakes to your child. My parents would go out of their way to justify any mistakes they made and make it seem as if they were right no matter what the situation was. Gave me a pretty messed up view of right and wrong, as well as learning from mistakes, but was fixed by my grandma. It's a long story that I don't want to get into right now. Not giving them a factual and straightforward sex ed talk. My parents answer my questions truthfully and at an age appropriate level throughout my childhood, and I am extremely thankful for it. Others around me have clearly not been that lucky. Edit typo. My parents relied on the school to teach me about sex and have never said a word about it. Luckily, I had excellent sex ed teachers who taught me everything. I'm not gonna lie, I kept anxiously waiting for the moment when they were finally gonna have the talk with me, but it just never happened. Haha! I had the same dread of the incoming talk with my very religious, conservative mother. It kind of happened as I was walking past her one day in the living room. Mum, out of nowhere, you know about sex, right? Me. Mostly, Mum. So you know that the boy puts his penis in the girl? Me, yeah, Mum. Visible relief. Never emotions anything like that again. I was like 15 at the time and had already long since accidentally stumbled across so much porn on the internet. LOL, good time. I found that when my parents teased me about stuff, I was clearly uncomfortable with it. It made me tell them less later in life. I have a good relationship with my parents, but I don't tell them lots about my life because it's easier if they don't know. Tease about it. For me, it wasn't they teased me about a boy. It was that they continued teasing me after I found out he only went out with me. So I would work on a group project with him and then dumped me after it was done. I was 14 and effing devastated, and all my parents did was ask repeatedly, in front of other family members, "Why did you Nick dump you? You're so smart." My mum grew up with 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and she used to tease me about things I liked when I was young because she thought I needed to experience since I had no siblings. I think this had the opposite effect than she intended, since it caused me to stay friends with people who were condescending towards me because I just thought that was normal. Now I'm afraid to be passionate about things she doesn't like. Pretty much my life. If you are genuinely wanting a relationship that's closer with your kid, Constantly teasing isn't going to make it happen. I never really got to fix my relationship with my mum because she passed away and I regret it. But damn it, her and my entire family constantly teasing and picking at me and judging me just ruined the first 30 years of my life. I didn't seriously date. Was out of my parents, mum and stepdad. Real dad was cool as hell. House, because stepdad would without fail tease me about the crushes or even platonic female friends. It went on for 5 years continuously until I moved out at 16. But it took a long time to unlearn the awkwardness, the nervousness and the anxiety involved with even trying to pursue a relationship. Stepdad died in 1999. I don't feel bad, so please no condolences. And my mum had since married to the third time. She's absolutely adores my wife and kids, so she's at least recognised the need to change. No discipline at all. I have a cousin who already is told they could do whatever they wanted in life and did not get into trouble at all, despite some rough behaviours. 20 years later, they are in therapy when they realise it was because they never really were disciplined in life. Cousin is getting over some past trauma